Thank you for joining On the Spot Motorsports Media tonight. This is our third episode of 2026, and I tell you what, man, we've got some great guests coming on. But tonight we have Taylor Reimer joining us. Excellent drivers, went through pretty much every class car that you can think of. Legends, pro late models. She's done some dirt track racing, and I tell you, and now she's going into her second year of racing at ARCA. So we're going to talk about all those little things around the history of her coming up through the sport, and also little differences and similarities of running those classes in the ARCA series. But before we get into that tonight, we're going to take a little short commercial break. So we'll be right back after these messages.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit, we'll protect it.
Ready to take your engine to the next level? Scorpion Racing Products delivers precision-engineered, high-performance rocker arms that dominate the track. 100% CNC machined in the USA with aerospace-grade aluminum for unmatched strength and durability. Our rocker arms handle extreme conditions with multiple ratios available to fit your needs. Backed by our exclusive lifetime warranty. When performance matters, choose Scorpion Racing Products. Proven, reliable, unstoppable.
With more than 30 years of engine and drivetrain experience, Big Stuff is your one-stop total power management solution. Whether you're controlling a 600 horsepower street car and want the best drivability, or have a 6,000 horsepower race car, need the most bulletproof, reliable control hardware, Big Stuff can do it all. All of our components are designed and manufactured right here in the USA, including our computers, wiring harnesses, touchscreen displays, and more. Nothing is built offshore, and we take pride in being one of the only automotive aftermarket manufacturers that can say this. Learn more at BigStuff3EFI.com or connect with us on Facebook and Instagram for more information.
Taylor, I want to thank you for joining us tonight here on the Spot Motorsports Media. The racing season for NASCAR and ARCA and everything's right around the corner. And it all happens at Daytona International Speedway. And I want to say it's like the 63rd annual event that ARCA has done at Daytona.
That's awesome. Thank you guys for having me on. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Now, Ms. Taylor, like I said, thank you for taking time out of your crazy busy schedule to talk to us tonight. I tell you, your career has been absolutely remarkable up to this point. Can you tell us a little bit of like how you got started all the way up to where you are now as far as the different genres of organizations of racing that you've done?
Yeah, of course. So I started in go-karts when I was 6 or 7. I did 50cc go-karts with my dad at our local go-kart track. And I did that for a couple years. We won the championship there. And then we moved over to dirt racing. And we started racing at Port City in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. And we did that for a couple years. We ran junior sprints. I dominated after 4 years. I think we won like 20 races one season. It was crazy. Honestly, I wish I remembered more of it. I was so young. I was like 9, 10 years old that I don't remember it a lot. But getting to look back at pictures is cool. So I did that for about 4 years, and then I went up to restricted, which is like the next class up. It's not all the way in the micro world. It's kind of like the still kid age karts. Right. Ran those, and then we decided to stop racing. Just thought it was best that I probably go to college, get a degree, and then we could always come back to it. Didn't have a ton of money to go, big time racing at that age. What kids are able to do now is crazy. Yeah. So I stopped that, and then it was went to University of Oklahoma, joined a sorority there, cheered all 4 years, was, some of the greatest years of my life. I don't regret it at all. And then about midway through college, COVID hit. So I think it was 2020. My dad and I, we went back to our local dirt track at Port City. We went to a midget race, and that's kind of when I discovered what midgets were. I wasn't familiar with it at that point. And our friend that we grew up racing with, he was starting a midget team and asked if I wanted to test one practice. And I was like, yeah, sure. Not knowing what was going to come out of it, and got in the car, tried it for the first time, and absolutely loved it all over again. And I was like, yep, I want to get back into racing. I was, still full time at the University of Oklahoma, cheering, everything. It was wild to think back now. I'm like, how did I juggle all of that? But started racing a little bit part time for the first couple years, just because I was still finishing out school. Graduated at OU, and then decided to move out to North Carolina. I joined the Toyota Development Program, raced midgets for a couple years, and then decided that I wanted to try asphalt racing. Ran limited late models, I think it was 2 years ago for a season, and then last year I did some part-time late model stuff, and then I did 5 ARCA races. And now this year I have 7 ARCA races, and just kind of dabbling my feet in whatever I can get in. My goal was to do a little bit of road course racing this year, and thought that, I had some people telling me that I should really try out legend cars. I'd never raced those growing up, so I wasn't, familiar with that world. Never really raced on road courses except when I was 6 years old. Don't remember it.
Right.
Doing a little bit of legend racing and hoping to do some late model stuff if I can get more funding, just to kind of fill my time for the rest of the year.
Right.
Right.
So how do you like running legends? And a lot of people's got to understand they're not a very easy car to drive. Not at all.
No, for sure. I think honestly, legends are a really, really good tool growing up. Now that I've driven one, like if you are at a younger age, I think they're great to start in. They kind of remind me of the midget on dirt, in the sense of the power to weight ratio is similar. They're super light. I think they're like 1,200 pounds, which is right around what the midget was. And they have a lot of horsepower. So I think it really is a great tool teaching throttle control. Those things, if you pick up the gas too soon, you spin out immediately. So I got to test for the first time last Monday at Kershaw, Carolina Motorsports Park. And I had a lot of fun. I've been prepping on iRacing, and I downloaded Corsa Seta, I think is what it's called. It's another kind of similar to iRacing where you can practice tracks. They actually had the track on there. So I spent, a couple weeks practicing there. And then this past weekend was our first time that the Legends got to race on the full roval at Charlotte, which was really, really cool to be a part of. It was kind of a disaster just because the weather kind of came through, and we had so many classes, and no one knew exactly the track layout yet. They had announced that we were running the full roval, but they actually changed it to where it was the full roval but plus the infield courses. So no one's been on that track except I think people tested maybe a month ago, just like 1 or 2 people. So it's a new track. No one was really used to it. We didn't get a ton of track time. Yep, there it is with this past weekend. And yeah, it was really, really cool. We ended up getting rained out on Sunday, and then we're supposed to race this weekend, and I think we have a lot of snow coming, so I think it's all going to get pushed back to March. But yeah, it was really, really fun to drive. I've never also really done road course racing, as I said, so getting the chance to do that just because I want to get my feet wet in it. I eventually want to run some TA2 stuff just to, try different avenues of racing. I like to, venture out. I don't like to stay in the same thing forever. So, whatever opportunities I'm able to drive, that's what I like to do. And road course racing, it's hard. Like I've been practicing for a couple of months. I think end of November is when I started iRacing for the Roval. And I mean, I had 14-year-olds that were, go out there faster than me. It's humbling. It is very humbling because the Legend is like younger kids coming up. And so it's a hard thing to get, but I started to figure it out and really looking forward to hopefully racing this weekend. If not, we'll get to do it after Daytona.
Yeah, I looked at the forecast as well and seen that, on Saturday, I knew I lived in Maggie Valley for a little while, so I always check on the weather up there. And I want to say up there in upper upper North Carolina, that's what I call it. I think they're supposed to get 5 to 8 inches Saturday, and
Hmm.
then Saturday night another 8 to 10. So
Jeez,
yeah,
I
that's
think what we're supposed to get here in Charlotte. Like I think that's about the same
it's about
here.
right.
So,
Yeah, that's gonna be
which
bad.
is if it's gonna be cold, I do like the snow. Like if it's gonna be freezing, I want it to snow, and I want it to snow a lot. Like I want to have a day where we can go sledding and whatnot. I don't love whenever it like snows in the morning and then it's gone by 12 because it already melted. So if it's gonna snow, I want it to snow hard, but at the
right.
same time, of course, it's the weekend we're racing. That that's always how it is. There's always rain that comes through, and
Right,
so not surprising, but I do like snow.
right. There's nothing wrong with snow as long as it's not slush. I have made that
Yeah,
clear with Mitchell
or on a
after
race
this,
weekend.
or on a race weekend. That's very
Yeah.
true. Now, with you getting started at such a young age, did your family did they race and all that before? You know what I mean? Or were you
Yeah,
like the first?
yeah. So my dad got me into racing. He grew up racing all sorts of things from whatever he could get his hands on. He raced jet skis, micros. He did drag racing. He did everything, but it was never. He was never like into the NASCAR side of things or
Right.
any of that. So it was just what he could afford at the time, and he BMX bikes, like just anything. We've always been an adrenaline family, and when he put me in that go-kart, my mom was like, absolutely not. And my dad came home one day, put me in a go-kart, and she saw me like riding around the cul-de-sac in it, and she was like, oh, she's actually kind of good. But at first she was like, no.
So mama was against it. Daddy was for it to start with.
Yes.
And but what I was going to say, what drew your father to the go kart at the time? I mean, did he have friends that were doing it, and they kind of like say, "Hey, come on out," and he took you out there and just, or was it kind of like somebody called him up, says, "Hey, we got an opportunity for you." I
That's
mean,
honestly, no, that's a great question. My dad he loves anything racing. Like he loves to build things. So he is always, he's building and racing old school cycle carts right now. So I'm sure, I've never asked him, but I'm sure he just thought of the idea and saw it on, saw a go-kart at the local go-kart track and was like, yep, I'm buying this, and ended up with it at home. But no, there was no rhyme or reason to it. It's just my dad.
okay, but that's good. That's good. I like the fact that your family was involved with it, and just natural progression of your family is like going, "Hey, you want to race? Sure, okay, come on," and meaning you, and
Yeah.
put you right in it and started. So, and the fact that it sounds like that your entire family is competitive.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, I can be. I will admit I can be a little too competitive at times. And in like board games and card games, no one likes to play card games with me. But I've been working on it. I've been working on it.
do you
To be
turn
a
the
little
table
better.
over? That's what I want to know. Do you turn the table over?
No, I kind
Okay.
of have like a little mini crash out. Like
Okay. You don't turn the
but
table over, so you're okay.
No. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We've
We're
all
working on it though. But yeah, any kind of sport, like I mean, golf, pickleball, racing, whatever it is where you can win in something, like I am determined and I want to win.
nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with wanting to win. Because we've all been around somebody where they've taken it a little too far, and you're like going, okay, I need to step it back a little bit.
Yeah.
But
So what is it like now? You've raced Toyotas. Now you're going to be racing Chevrolet for Pinnacle Racing Group.
Yeah.
The number 77. So if you're watching an ARCA race and you see number 77, that is
that's
Taylor out there racing. So and it is a 200. That's the way it's always been at Daytona. Is the 200, and it's the General Tire 200. I think that is the sponsor. So
so.
what does it make you feel like to be able to race around some of those other names that's been in that series for a few years, and actually, how about Mitchell Garrett? Everybody knows him as Cletus. So how's that feel?
Yeah, it's really cool, and it's honestly when I tested there for the first time, I didn't grow up watching NASCAR. When I was in college, I was just focused on college and kind of wasn't focused on it because I think I knew in the back of my mind that like if I was sitting there watching it, like I would want to be out there.
Right.
So
Totally get it.
Yeah. So I think just actually going out there and testing at Daytona was really, really cool. Because you don't like, I'll say I was never like, oh, like, I never really fangirled over like going out and racing at Daytona until I tested there, and I was like, wow, this is actually really, really cool, and not many people get to do it. Like, not everyone can say they've ran, 190 miles an hour around Daytona, and it's cool just to know all of the names, that have been on that track and stuff. Yeah.
And you done really well in practice. So practice was January the 9th and the 10th down at Daytona. And you were what, about the 17th quickest?
16th or 17th, yeah.
Yeah, the times are very, like, we were, I would say on single car speed, we were overall second. But then whenever, you go out and draft, people's times pick up. So the times aren't really, like, super comparable to what, what we actually have. But yeah, single car speed, I think we were second overall. And then when we were in the draft, we were kind of like mixed around. And, our group there were, some Toyotas that went out there and, they ran 7 cars in a row. And, they went around for, 10 laps. So they were able to build up their momentum. We were kind of doing a little bit differently with the Chevys. We were trying to get our teammates and myself to have a little bit of experience of like switching around in the draft. So, I would start in the very back. We would do 2 laps, and then the person in the front would drop out of line, fall back, and then we would rotate through until everyone's kind of been in a different spot. So just that we could. So we never really like built up our momentum, but I know that we have a really, 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 really good car going into Daytona.
Speaking of the draft and stuff, can you side draft pretty well with those cars? Just like regular Xfinity series and NASCAR, the side drafting really help you in situations?
I think so, yeah. I haven't really, at Daytona, we didn't mess with side drafting at all. I had one person get kind of close to me when he was falling back, but at Kansas I did. And it's a pretty crazy experience when you go out of the corner and you put it on their quarter panel and it just sucks you past. It's crazy.
Right.
Because I could see how y'all put in the train and rotating it through, how it gives you a different feel each time, as far as you're up front and versus a bump draft versus behind it and the throttle control and how close you get in and out from each other going in and out of the turns. So that makes sense, that the experience that you would gain and something like that. But I mean, honestly, 16 out of 82 cars, you were number 16. Okay, just in practice under those circumstances, that's really, really good. Because I thought it was, like you said, I thought it was nose to tail the whole way.
You could kind of just go out and do whatever, and you could pair up with people. Like, we teamed up with one other team, so we had probably like 6 or 7 total. But yeah, Daytona it's a crazy experience. Like, when you watch it on TV, it just looks like the guys are just driving around in circles and that's it. Like, it looks easy, but when you're actually behind the wheel, like, you have so many things that are fighting you. The track's not super smooth. It's a little bit rough. When you're going into the corner, like, it's sinking down. It feels like when you drop on a roller coaster, but that feeling stays like that for the whole time throughout the corner. So for 6 seconds, you're just sinking down. I mean, you've got wind. It was super windy that day, so you have wind gusts pulling you back and forth, and then when you're following people and you're right up on their nose, like, you cannot see the car in front of you. You can't see past them, so you can't, you're wanting to stay on that yellow line, but you can't see the yellow line because that car directly in front of you is there. So, like, when you're going to the corner, you kind of want to, like, peek out to look for your point
spot,
of where so it's a very, like, physically it is not as tiring as short track, but mentally by far, like, super speedways are definitely, from what I've just getting a practice. I haven't even raced yet. I can't imagine the race is going to be crazy, but there we are.
And what's so neat is once you get out there and you get going and with the momentum, you don't touch the brake.
Yeah, no, you drag it a little bit, and that's too, like, I have so much to learn before, the race on February 14th. But it's you're not pressing the brake, but you're kind of like you're dragging the brake
Right.
because you're trying to like break that bubble and be on the person in front of you. Plus, you're bumping into them, but at the same time, like, you have to be careful because you have to be on their nose square, and it's just there's so much that actually goes on inside the car, and you have to time it right. Like, if you go into the corner and you're about to hit them and you have to lift, like, you've then lost all that momentum and it
Right.
sucks you away from them, and then
Right.
you've fallen back. So there's just so much that goes into it that you have to know, like, behind the scenes and what to do in that moment, that um, it's not easy. Like, it's not just driving around in a circle going 200 miles an hour, which that's what it looks like. Because when I see it, like when I'm watching it on TV, I'm like, they must be so bored. Like, you're just like, but there's so much that's going inside the car.
And you get out of it after 10, 15 laps and you're exhausted and you got to sit down again,
Mm-hmm.
I can
Yes.
imagine.
Yeah.
Who's your spotter for Daytona?
So we have the same spotter all year, which I'm very grateful for. It's Tyler Green, I think is his name.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that. I know he's Carson Hocevar's spotter, and I've heard that he's really, really good on super speedways. So looking forward to working with him. I haven't got to meet him yet. I think that's his name. Don't quote me on that.
Well, the spotter is just as about the most important person while you're out there on the super speedway, because
Oh yeah,
he's in your
basically
ear
drive
the whole
for
entire
you.
time. He's telling you how many cars they're back, how many cars to front, who's on the side of you, especially if you go three wide, letting you know, hey, this car's a little bit further ahead of you, and I mean, it's very important.
Absolutely, yeah. Honestly, like, what people tell me is like your spotter can make or break your race.
Right.
And you have to be listening to them, and if they tell you to get down, like, you have to get down immediately. You can't hesitate and look in your mirror, because at that time the hole is probably filled and then you're
Right.
wrecking. So it's a lot that goes in goes on inside the race car. And having someone talk to you is, you have to be ears open, listening the entire time, doing
Right.
exactly what they say, and they kind of drive it for you, almost, in a sense. Like, you're actually out there, but they're telling what to do strategy wise.
Yeah. Showing you clearly what you can't see.
Yes,
At
yeah.
least trying to help you through that.
Yeah, it's sketchy, like, not being able to see in front of the car in front of you, because you're wanting to stay so straight, and you're wanting to paint the yellow line because that's the fastest way around. But when you can't see the yellow line, you can't see what, like, you can't see ahead. So I can totally see how wrecks happen all the time at those tracks.
Oh, I can only imagine. But you see, that's the wonderful thing about ARCA and the other series, is the safety that they have built into the
Absolutely.
cars and they've built into the series. And that's a wonderful thing about ARCA, is that it's a stepping stone.
For sure.
And it has, since NASCAR owns ARCA, the same safety is there and everything, but it's for, I can't say training, but it's an opportunity to learn different and your driving skills. To
No,
be able to promote it. And you coming from different genres, I mean, we put you at Springfield. Woo! I mean, that one was good. That was some good. I love Springfield anyway. I love it for the motorcycle racing and all that stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then to put a NASCAR style car on a 1 mile dirt oval
track. Yeah.
is great, and you did a phenomenal job.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
At that event and others. But how did you get involved with the Toyota Racing Development Team? How did that come about?
Yeah, so the team. I was in a kind of combine with some other females, and Trent, he's the guy who kind of does everything for Toyota. He put it together and invited me out there, so I was able to be a part of that. And then the team that I ran for, we tested with Leaf Walk Racing, and then I ended up racing with them for the next couple of years on the late model side of things. And that's kind of how I got into the program, just because we were driving a Toyota, and it was a great program to be a part of. We got to train every day, a nutritionist. Like, it was a good program for sure.
Oh, that's good. Because I was wondering,
It kind of
man, how
reminds
in the
me.
world? Yeah, how do
Well,
you
it kind of
get there?
reminds me what Roush Fenway did years ago. Before Brad got part of that racing organization, they would hold those type of things. They'll bring in a group of guys and some females, and they'll go through all these different steps and stuff, and it actually helped them find drivers
Yeah,
for the program. And also educated others to, even though if they didn't get picked up by Roush, uh, they were able to go other Jondas to race for other teams.
absolutely. Yeah.
And I tell you something else must compliment you on, even though were not able to run a full season of ARCA last year, you placed very, very well for the whole season. I mean, 38th out of 143, 150 racers, and you did not compete in the full season. So, I mean, everywhere you went, I believe you were top 10 at every one of your events, correct?
I think so. Yeah, I think Phoenix we may have ended up like 11th or 12th. It was an ARCA East or ARCA West race,
West, right?
but we qualified really really good there. That was a cool track. Qualified third, and I hit the wall early on, getting tight behind, getting into dirty air essentially,
Right.
um, and when we knocked the wall down, kind of just lost the drive of the car for the rest of the race. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed Phoenix, and I'm glad that I'm getting to go back there this year, give it a second shot. And coming from dirt racing, growing up, like I raced Port City, which is a small track. I raced there for several years, and that was the only track size that I had ever been on. So then when I started racing midgets, um, the track size got a little bit bigger, and we would go to different track sizes, but now moving over to asphalt racing, the first couple of years, I just did short tracks around North Carolina, so Hickory and Tri-County. So I think, as you were saying earlier, ARCA it's a really great stepping stone for the other series because, like you were saying, like you get experience on bigger tracks that you can't race on a late model. Like you don't.
Right.
The only way you can race at Daytona and Talladega is in a NASCAR. So getting to do that in ARCA and going to different tracks that are different sizes. The dirt Springfield mile was the first time that I'd raced on a mile. That was the biggest track I'd been on at that time. And then last year I got to go and do a mile and a half at Kansas, and then now this year I'm getting to go and getting to do Daytona. So just trying to work my way up, and it's all the tracks are so different. And you just have to, learn all the different characteristics of speedway racing and short track racing, and then the mile and a half of the dirty air that I've never experienced. So there's a lot that you have to learn depending on the track size.
So I know you mentioned earlier about doing iRacing, and just about everybody that races is on iRacing, and sometimes they have competitions. But being on iRacing in your rig that you're in while you're doing it, how much does that really help you when you go to a track and race live?
Yeah, so they have dirt, or they have iRacing for dirt and for pavement. And when I was doing the midget stuff, I really didn't feel like the dirt tracks translated well at all, so I never really did iRacing. It wasn't until I moved over to asphalt racing. And I think the biggest thing for me is learning the track size and getting to actually be on the track, because I can watch a bunch of videos. And then when you're actually out on the track, it's a different view and different perspective that you're getting. So just getting to learn the characteristics of the track. Like if I went to the Roval and did the legend cars this past weekend without getting to practice and not knowing the track, I would be so far lost. Like it's insane how much I feel like iRacing helps in that sense. You kind of have to take the actual racing part of it with a grain of salt, just because different track conditions and stuff like that with the weather. But they have a lot of different tools that you can use to change the weather. You can change it to partly cloudy, clear. I was kind of trying to mess with that earlier, just to get the feel better from this past weekend. because I felt like in real life, like it was a little bit more slick and I was a little bit more on edge than I had been on iRacing. So I adjusted it to try to tune it and make it exactly what it's like out there. So I do think that iRacing is a really, really big help.
Does your rig have like the stabilizers where you can actually feel the bumps in those particular areas on the track?
No, mine doesn't. I honestly like a static one. I don't really like the ones that move around. But when I was a part of Toyota, they had a big sim rig, like millions of dollars that they've poured into that. And they will have every NASCAR track. Some tracks iRacing doesn't have that Toyota had that we were able to practice on, and that one was a full motion censored one. We would wear a helmet and gloves and race shoes and everything, but the one I have at home is just like a static. It doesn't move.
Yeah,
Makes sense.
and my nephew has the same thing. He has a static one as well.
But the big thing I could definitely see a plus from that, like you said, is of course it doesn't take into consideration obviously track conditions and weather and stuff like that, but you get pretty much a ground level view of the layout of the track.
Exactly.
There's nuances that you don't see from a television camera or up in the stands. The layout going into the turn that is flatter than it appears on TV, or more of a bank, or not a true bank corner. It has like a dog leg in the middle of it. That kind of nuances. So that's a plus.
I remember Bristol, the first time that I went there to the actual track. I was shocked at how banked it was, because you watch it on TV and it looks banked, but it's just crazy how you watch it on TV. It doesn't look as banked as when you actually get there and you walk down onto the track and you're like, oh my god, like this is really, really banked. So
you're literally in a bowl. You're literally in a bowl.
Yeah, it's wild.
It is. But I mean, that's part of what makes it so great. The technology that's available now. But I tell you, one of your latest or most recent in-car videos of running the Legends goes to show this perfect example. There were situations where you were aware, and you position yourself better than some others. People flying past you, missing the corners, missing the turns, a lot of stuff, and I'm like going. A couple of them, I'm like going, I've never been on that track, but I could see that coming.
Right there was that was a close one right there with them spinning out in front of you.
Yeah. So what had happened was I was racing the semi-pro division, and I think there were like 35 cars. So that's a lot to be on the track at one time. So they split up qualifying. But we had weather that morning, so what they actually did was they combined practice and qualifying into one, and I didn't know. I thought I was just going out to practice, and we got 4 laps. So I was just going out to practice, and they split us up. So the first group went out, and they got 4 timed laps. They didn't have any cautions. They got to build up their momentum. Well, when our group went out, we had, I think, like 2 or 3 cautions, and when they throw a caution, they just throw it red so that we're not wasting fuel. So we essentially only got 1 time lap, and I wasn't able to build up my momentum. Really? So I started like 20th. So it wasn't like a true testament of, like we probably should have been like right outside the top 10. So getting to start back in 20th out of, 35 cars, I knew was going to be crazy. People were going to be everywhere. And literally the first corner, someone spun out right in front of me, and, I didn't do anything. I had nowhere to go. So I had to swerve to avoid him. I drove through the grass, and like 10 people passed me. So at that point, I'm back in 30th. I'm almost dead last. And then we go onto the back.
But you missed it. You didn't get caught up in it.
Correct. Yeah. No, I missed the wreck. And then we go into the backstroke chicane, and that video that you just showed happened. If you haven't seen it, you can go watch it on my Facebook page. But
it's crazy.
I did brake, like you can see on the sidewalls. Like I braked really, really early, but it's because when you're in the back of the pack like that, obviously the pace is going to be a lot slower, and you don't know people's braking points in front of you. Like I know my braking point is like between the 3 and the 4, but I don't know what these cars in front of me are doing. So I braked really, really early. And that guy behind me just came out of nowhere, and he just sent it in there. And I was watching in my mirror because, again, the Legend cars, you don't have spotters, which is also crazy because now that I'm on asphalt side of things, I'm used to always having a spotter. The Legend cars, there's no spotters, so you just have to use your mirrors. So that is a whole nother thing that I wasn't used to. So I was like watching him in my mirror, and I was like, he's coming in hot. Like
Right.
So I kind of just like braked really, really early, kind of looked in my mirror, and I was like, yeah, he's coming. So I was like waiting to the last second until I had a turn so I didn't like run into the tire barrier.
Right.
And that's when he came flying by me, took out the guy in front of him. The guy in front of him had no idea what had just happened. And then I kind of went around it, and, you know, they don't throw cautions unless it's necessary. So, you know, then at that point, like, we were still really, really far back. And I think we got back up to like 21st, but they also cut it short because we had a 20-minute time limit because we were running out of time because there were so many classes. So there was just a lot that like went into it. But yeah, the couple videos that I got were crazy. And hopefully next weekend we're able to, you know, get a fair shot at qualifying, go out there, you know, do the best that I can, and start towards the front of the back, because whenever you're back there, you're obviously matching people's pace around you,
Right.
and you're going to be going slower. So I feel like if I can just like start towards mid to front pack, I'll get better experience and drive it harder too. I feel like I was kind of like really easy on it because I didn't want to, you know, wreck or spin out, because these cars, again, they're so easy to spin out, and that was my second time being in one. So I feel like I wasn't pushing the limits as much as I could. So come next race, I'm definitely gonna give it my all.
You could sense it in the video. Yeah, you could really sense it in the video. And Mitchell and I were talking ahead of time that you could see it. That basically you were favoring the outside for the last second before you come in. It's like going, okay, she obviously sees something happening, and all of a sudden Tim comes flying through. It's like going, there it is.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, you know, a lot of people they look at those cars and they don't think they're all that quick. But when you're on the straightaway,
oh yeah,
coming in, you're running probably right at 100 to a little over 100 miles an hour.
You're exactly right.
Yep. Yeah, and so a lot of people don't understand. Yeah, it may look like a little car, but that thing is hauling butt.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
And I think, you know, like, you know, your experience in racing and stuff, and racing, you know, late models and ARCA series, driving those legend cars are actually going to help you.
Absolutely.
You know, because you can feel the car being in a legend. It happens so quick, so you have to have really fast reflexes. I mean, your hands are like this the whole time when you're driving a legend. I mean, the whole time. So when you transfer that acknowledgement over to something in pro late models or ARCA, it drives a little bit smoother, but you can feel it in the seat of your pants of the car trying to get a little bit out of shape, and you're able to get the car back up underneath you and save it.
100%. I definitely, I'm slow with my hands in the legend cars. Like, now that I've switched dirt racing, you know, you are steering that car.
You're constantly behind a little bit.
Okay. And for, you know, the ARCA stuff and pavement side of things, like, you try to be as smooth as you can on the wheel. So now that I feel like I'm racing the legend cars, I'm slow with my reaction time, because I'm not, you know, like, I'm not turning and correcting as much as I should be, and I'm just kind of like slow with that. So I've been working on that.
It'll come to you fast.
Real fast. It just the lack of experience, being so green to it, and, you know, just being out there on a new track, new circumstances. Like, once I get the hang of it and, you know, get more laps, I think we've probably got like 15 laps total from the whole weekend on that track, which really is not a lot. But it was really fun. The banking was cool, going down the, you know, the back stretch and the front stretch of Charlotte Motor Speedway, and everyone, you know, it got a really good car count because everyone wanted to be a part of it. And even Corey was telling me, he was like, he wished that he had ran it, and my team owner even was like, I'm definitely running this next year. So it's a really cool event, and hopefully we get more track time next week.
Yeah, that's good.
So who you're racing for in the Legend Series? Are you racing for a particular team?
It's Zach Miller with Miller Performance Motorsports. Yeah,
right.
They're a really, really good team.
And I think when my nephew raced over there, he was racing for 510 racing.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I'm not really familiar with, you know, the Legend car scene.
Right.
I'd heard of Joe Ryan, and then I asked some people in Chevy who they thought would be a good team to run for that was reasonably priced, and they recommended Zach Miller, and I've been really impressed with their program. They've done a really, really good job. They gave me, you know, a great car, and I definitely feel like I underdrove it at the last race. So I feel like my goal going into the next one is just to give them a better finish for them because they deserve it.
Now tell us something.
Oh, I was going to ask.
Okay.
How many legend car races are you planning on running this year?
Yeah, so the Roval was the only one I've had scheduled. I
Okay.
just wanted to do that so I could get a little road course experience. I would like to do more. It's
You would
just,
love Hickory.
huh?
You would love the race at Hickory
Oh
in a
gosh,
legend.
really? This
Yeah.
goes so bumpy. Hickory's rough. I think they said they're repaving it before the ARCA race. I don't know if they're actually going to or not, but yeah, I really do enjoy the legend car, and I definitely feel like there's a lot to take from it going into the stock car side of things. So if I can get the funding, I would like to do a couple more throughout the year, and definitely if they race it next year, I would definitely want to do that too.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Well, actually, I got a couple questions for you, and it's not a trick question. Okay, it's
Yeah.
really not. Okay, what are your goals? Okay, long-term goals in racing, and also, what has been your biggest challenge so far up to this moment
That's a
as a
great
driver?
question.
As a driver.
Yeah. So first, goal-wise, I obviously want to be, I want to make it to the Cup Series. I want to be running on Sundays. I want to run competitively. But short term right now, like I want to first get the funding to be able to run full time. It's
True.
funding is a really, really, really big part of it, and I don't have enough of my own money to be able to front that. So sponsorship is so important. But yeah, I'm kind of just honestly taking it year by year because I don't know what I'll be doing in the future. I'm doing the best that I can in each race to prove that I belong to be out there, prove that females belong in a male-dominated space. But yeah, so I think short term, like I'm trying to run full-time ARCA eventually, and just make my way through the NASCAR ladder if I can get the funding to do so. And then biggest challenges. That's a good question. I would say I took so many years off of racing, and I'm racing with guys who have raced their whole life. They've never taken time off, and I feel like that was when I started midget racing. That was a huge challenge for me because you're racing with guys who have, like I just said, raced all their life. They never stop. They race like 60 times a year. So coming into it, like it's a hard sport. Like you have to be physically in really, really good shape and mentally too. Like it's easy to get down on yourself when the results aren't what you're hoping for and whatnot. So I would just say like getting back into the sport, and then now like just trying different things, trying to kind of play catch up with everyone because being 26, I feel like I'm sort of behind, but I continue to try to like tell myself like no, like you can't really put an age on things. Like you can do anything you want to do at any age. And as long as you have the money to do it, I'll be racing. So if I can get the funding, I will hopefully race as long as I can. And yeah, the sport itself it's a really, really hard sport. Like I don't think a lot of people don't understand. And, you have keyboard warriors on Twitter and Facebook and that just say the most outlandish stuff that you've ever heard. And,
yeah, they think that you can just go down there and say, "Hey, I want to drive for you, and let's get this soda company to sponsor." Yeah, it doesn't happen like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. I was assuming one of the biggest challenges to you was having access to the larger tracks, because there's only a certain series that run on those big tracks, whereas you have more access to shorter tracks. That was.
Honestly, that too. There are so many challenges. Like it's hard to just say one, but that definitely is a big one. But yeah,
you're doing it though. You see that's a wonderful thing. That's the wonderful thing about what you're doing is that you're doing it. You're racing at Daytona, just like you mentioned before, and other super speedways too. But you're racing on these tracks, which very few people have the opportunity to do in their whole lifetime. So that's a phenomenal thing.
Yeah, and I'm very blessed that I've had the support from my family and now all of the sponsors that I've been able to have. I've had Buzzballs Cocktails as my primary sponsor for this is year 5, and I would not be racing without the support from them. And my associate sponsors too, bird building, and now I just announced that I have a new sponsor for 2026 part-time in this series. I have 4 races with free nicotine. So
Nice.
all of these people, like, it wouldn't be possible without all of these people that help behind the scenes and make it all possible.
Well, you actually took the words out of my mouth.
Exactly. That's exactly where we're going to go
place I was
next.
going to go was talk about your marketing partners because you're right. Without those, things can't move forward.
For sure. Yeah, it's a tough sport, and with how racing is going, how much everything costs, like, people do not understand how expensive racing actually is for one season. I was mind blown how much, coming from dirt racing, like, I was like, okay, yeah, that's kind of expensive, like, it's not anything crazy. And then when I moved out to North Carolina and really started to learn the ins and outs of NASCAR and how much things actually cost, I couldn't even imagine. Like, I'm like, how much it costs to race for one season, people in their 9 to 5 job don't make in a single year. Like,
Right.
it just, it's insane. And with 2311 in front row, suing NASCAR, I hope that good things come out of that and we see some changes in the sport.
I think they have, and actually, I have not liked the race in your end type of thing
Right.
that they started, and now they're going back to a points format where they pick the top 16 drivers in the points to race for a championship. I
Yeah.
like that a whole lot better. And I'm not going to lie, I'm not a big fan of the stages. I'm just old school. I'm an older guy.
Sure.
But then again, I kind of see where it actually helps bring the younger people in.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, maybe they were to do a race every once in a while, like Saturday night at the dirt track. Run a 150 lapper, and the winner is the winner, and you place for the second race. You go through how they finished, and that's how they line up, how they qualify for the second race and run a double. I was wondering something like that would be really cool for NASCAR to do, especially on a short track
Yeah.
situation.
Right. Get a bull
I'm just
ring, get it in. Go ahead.
letting you guys know, my laptop is at 4%, but we can continue rolling for a few more minutes.
We'll be quick. We'll be
No,
very,
you're-
very
I'm
quick.
saying, if my computer dies, sorry, and thank you for
No,
letting me
that's
know.
okay.
No. We'll be very
It
quick.
was at
How
like 75%, so I don't understand. But anyways, go on.
how can everybody get a hold of you and follow you on social media?
Yeah, so I have, I have Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, I guess now X. It's all just Taylor Reimer Racing. I have a website as well, and I have merch on there. But yeah, Facebook is a big one. I like to post a lot of behind the scenes stuff on there, and having the supporters is huge. Like, without the support and the following that I have, I wouldn't have these sponsors. So I'm very grateful for everyone that has been part of my racing journey and continuing to help me push forward and achieve all of my dreams and goals of racing.
Agreed. And we're going to encourage everybody to follow you, Taylor.
Thank you.
To follow you, and we're also going to encourage everybody that wants to get involved in the different racing series that Taylor's involved with, that you reach out to her. You reach out to her because y'all could work out a marketing deal. Wonderful person, wonderful representative for the marketing people she's working with right now, and for the series she's running in. I mean, ARCA is fantastic. I really, really, really like that series.
Yeah,
and fans really need to come out there because they get a little something extra than what they do with the Cup Series and stuff like that.
Yes.
It's easier to get the pit passes and walk up and talk to y'all than it is the other drivers. And y'all are the future. Y'all's faces are the future of the Cup Series, the Xfinity Series. Well, it's O'Reilly's now, and the Cup Series.
Yeah.
Y'all are the upcoming drivers that is going to keep NASCAR going for years.
Absolutely. The ARCA series is very important, and we have people now skipping the ARCA series and just going straight into trucks and straight into Xfinity. And if you have the funding to do that, like that's awesome. But ARCA is a great platform just to be able to get, like we were talking about earlier, just to get on the bigger tracks, right? Like, I had never been on bigger tracks than a short track, and ARCA allows you to do that. And For a lesser price, it's still very expensive, but cheaper than trucks and Xfinity and Cup, and you get a race against people that are also just getting into it. So people are trying to skip that step, but I think it's very, very crucial. And for me especially, and watching people go up through the sport, go up through the ladder of NASCAR, I think proving that you belong in each of the series is really important. So when you race late models, like I think it's important that you're competitive, you're able to contend for wins, and that's why I ran limited late models for a full year, and we were able to get 4 wins that season, and we should have had more. And then now, trying to be competitive in the ARCA series, I want to climb the ladder the right way. I don't want to just, jump up if I have the funding, because I've seen time and time again, people fail because they have the funding and they just want to jump up in series, and it doesn't work that way. Like if you need to start at the lower series and work your way up, and I'm a true believer in that.
I agree 100% because
it's very wise.
Because also it hurts you mentally if you jump
100%.
in there. It really will. It'll crush you.
Yes.
And if you go through the steps, I think you're way better prepared. Not only prepared as a driver, but prepared to be ready for someone to put a camera in your face and ask you questions on that aspect of it as well. Driving is just one thing, but representing your marketing partners and being able to talk to a reporter after an accident, how to handle yourself.
100%.
All very important.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I remember when I first, I've never been a fan of like interviews or, being on camera or stuff like that.
And here you are.
Yeah, I know. Just because I feel like I'm not great with my words. I see people that I'm like, wow, like I wish I could speak like that, and I wish I could, have the wisdom that they have. But like you said, parents are starting their kids young. When you watch, the Tulsa Shootout, you have your little kid is being interviewed and they're 9 years old. Like it's a very, very important part of the sport to be able to market yourself, and just for your partners to be able to see you on camera and making sure that you are handling yourself and holding yourself to a high standard. When I cheered at the University of Oklahoma, being a cheerleader, you're a representation of the university, and you have to hold yourself to a high standard. So it's the same thing in racing. Like it's you have one bad race and you're in the heat of the moment and you say bad things. Like you just can't do that anymore. So it's very important.
Well, a lot of people say when drivers get ticked off after a wreck and
It's
stuff,
hard.
and they're like, I don't want to talk right now. And I think a lot of the reporters ought to go, okay, I'll tell you what, we'll come back and talk to you in 30 minutes or so.
Give them the
and let
respect,
you calm down, gather your thoughts and stuff like that, and then we'll come back and talk to you. I think as a reporter, you have to be mindful of those type of things and not just stick a camera when they come out of the in-care center, and you put a camera in their face. Well, what happened?
Yeah. No, whenever they do that, like half the time people haven't even seen the replay, so they don't even know what happened in the incident. Like you don't always know. So but I will say, like, speaking from experience, it is hard to keep your composure because you have so much adrenaline flowing and you realize how much is at stake. Like each race, you want to finish well, you want to do the best you can, and to show your sponsors that you're marketable and you're worth it. Like you have to be calm, but it's hard at the same time because you're competitive. You want to win. You just got taken out of a race and it's only lap 10.
You have to take that real big, deep breath.
This much. Yeah.
But I do like passion. I do like it when people say exactly what they are thinking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm like going,
there's a fine line.
Yeah. It's like going, hey, there's kids involved around here. It's like, But I like it when somebody has passion. They're like going, hey, that guy was an idiot, or that racer was an idiot. Okay, they knew what was going on.
What were they thinking?
This goes from last week when we were running at Hickory. You know what I mean? I beat him. You know what I mean? It's whatever. I mean, as long as you leave your mamas out of it, that kind of deal. But I like when people show passion. But unfortunately, some of the series are completely taking that out. Yeah. And just completely, I don't know the proper words, but anyway, I like when people have emotion, whatever it is.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Not everybody is happy that they lost. Not everybody
Absolutely.
not everybody's ecstatic that they won in the way that they did.
For
you know
sure.
what I mean? Whatever it might be. But anyway, we can go round and round about that forever.
Taylor, I really do appreciate you taking the time coming on with us tonight. I really hope the best for you. And nothing would make me happier to see you and Corey line up against together.
I think it happened.
Yeah, I think it does.
I think it happened.
I was going to, Corey Heim, I would love to see them two line up against each other and battle it out. I think it'd be really fun for them and for the fans to see something like that happen.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I'm so sorry. I'm on my phone now. Sorry, I had a feeling that was going to happen.
No. It's
but thank
okay.
you guys.
No problem.
All Mitchell said is he'd like to see you and Corey on the same track line up.
Yep, race each other. I think it'll be a lot of fun.
That'd be good.
I can't hear you guys. I don't know what's happening, but
okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Have a great night.
Taylor. Have a good night, Miss Taylor. Oh, that's funny. That's a good one. But yes, it would be really good to see her and her boyfriend line up in whatever series car. I think put them in a pair of Legends. I think
that'll be fun to watch.
Put them in a pair of Legends. Put them on a dirt roval, and just let it eat because they both have the skills. And being that it's a Legend, they're touchy, so you don't have to worry about drafting. You know what I mean, and all that kind of stuff. And if they bang on them, fender to fender, so what? And so I think that's really good. But I tell you, it was great. I learned a lot about the series from Miss Taylor. And a lot on behind the scenes, kind of what it takes to do that. So we wish you nothing but the best this year, Miss Taylor. She's got a great skill,
but like she said, it is really hard. It's really hard to grab marketing partners, and the racing programs are very, very expensive. I mean, it's even expensive in the Legend series, but when you start getting up in the Cars Tour and ARCA, it really starts adding up really quick.
And the thing about it is ARCA is more of a spec series compared to NASCAR or other things like that. ARCA is basically, I can't say outdated, but slightly dated chassis and bodies that are currently not in NASCAR. They moved their way down to ARCA. So the safety platform is still there. The engines are a spec. They're not just unlimited style development. So that they did all this to try to keep cost, you know what I mean? And
relatively where more people can afford to get into that program. Yes.
And then running an East and West Coast version or East and West series of ARCA, that's helpful. But then also branching out and running more local tracks, short tracks, rovals, dirt track at Springfield, for example. So these cars are on different courses, different tracks, which showcases different racers' abilities and helps others learn more. So I like the idea. I like the philosophy behind it and how it's being executed so far. It is
I think she's doing everything. I think she's doing everything right, and she was 100% correct. Your education is number one. Go take care of your education, and then let everything else fall in place. Because if it doesn't happen, you got your education to fall back on, and be able to have a great life and be able to, have stability in your house. But I'll tell you what, Robert, before we close the show, let's take a couple of commercial breaks, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Reliability to drive thousands of miles. Confidence for those who fly high. Redline oil products give you the power to crush the competition. And a track record of being the best. Redline oil products. You push it to the limit, we'll protect it.
Ready to take your engine to the next level? Scorpion Racing Products delivers precision-engineered, high-performance rocker arms that dominate the track. 100% CNC machined in the USA with aerospace-grade aluminum for unmatched strength and durability. Our rocker arms handle extreme conditions with multiple ratios available to fit your needs. Backed by our exclusive lifetime warranty. When performance matters, choose Scorpion Racing Products. Proven, reliable, unstoppable.
With more than 30 years of engine and drivetrain experience, Big Stuff is your one-stop total power management solution. Whether you're controlling a 600 horsepower street car and want the best drivability, or have a 6,000 horsepower race car, need the most bulletproof, reliable control hardware, Big Stuff can do it all. All of our components are designed and manufactured right here in the USA, including our computers, wiring harnesses, touchscreen displays, and more. Nothing is built offshore, and we take pride in being one of the only automotive aftermarket manufacturers that can say this. Learn more at bigstuff3efi.com or connect with us on Facebook and Instagram for more information.
I tell you what, it was a great show, Robert, and we have another great show coming on Thursday night. We have Lex June joining us, runs Top Fuel and NHRA and IHRA. And I tell you, he's got a lot of things happening over there. He's got a new marketing partner. Yep. So that's going to be a little bit part of the discussion Thursday night. And, they're working on that new chassis that they got from Coletta Motorsports. Mm-hmm. So I think he's going to have a really great year in 2026. And, they're one of those teams that's a low-budget team. But, hey, they're making it happen. They're living their dream, and they're having fun at it at the same time.
Absolutely. They're a wonderful family. He and his wife, Gertrude, are some wonderful people who recently became American citizens. And they are some of the hardest working people and nicest people you ever meet. And the fact that they have a Coletta chassis, I want to hope they're going to leave the Bounty Hunter name on it somewhere. Somewhere on there would be really, really good with the history of that car. And yes, they're coming on next week. Going to talk about their new marketing partners and also everything they have going on and what their season's shaping up to be for next year, or excuse me, this year. Wow, it's already this year.
This year already.
Already this year. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell everybody thank you for following On the Spot Motorsports Media on our different social pages, Facebook. And we also ask you, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, that you go out there and subscribe to it and tell your friends. Now, also, all of the Scorpion Bracket Racing Series at Gainesville Raceway this year will be live streamed courtesy of On the Spot Motorsports Media.
Starting this weekend, Saturday and Sunday.
Starting this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. So we encourage everybody to go there and follow us there, but also to subscribe, because we're really trying to build up our YouTube channel, our subscription. But also our Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. And also, this interview will not only be uploaded on YouTube, but also will be uploaded onto Spotify, and soon to be uploaded on Kick, a new platform offered for podcasting. So, and we're quite busy lining up other people. Mitchell and I got many irons in the fire.
Yeah. Speaking of Lex June, something that's fixing to happen, and actually a lot of cars were in Orlando today and tomorrow doing private testing for Sick Week. Yep. So we're going to have Derek Putnam joining us from Sick the Mag. Mm-hmm. He does a lot of writing articles and stuff for their magazine publication.
And announcing.
Yes, does a real good job announcing. And so we're going to have him join us on the 29th. And we're going to talk everything Sick Week. We're going to talk about the route. So if you live close to that route, that it may be coming through your neighborhood, you may want to drive up there with your truck, find you a little place in the parking lot, let the tailgate down and sit and just watch the hot rods come by. All those competitors, they really love people lining up down the roads and rooting them on, because it is really a challenge. It's not just a challenge to go to the track and race, but it's a challenge itself to get some of these cars from track to track. And they're driven. They're not trailered. Right, so they have to, by the rules, they have to drive it. They have to go to certain checkpoints and check in, take pictures. it's a really neat thing that's been going on for quite a while with Sick the Mag, and actually some other drive and drag events have popped up. You know, we had Michelle Lakey with Alaska
Yep.
Raceway, and they even do one. The ones it starts at their track, and then they go to an old airfield, and they finish it up there, which is kind of neat.
It is. It is. That's an event we definitely want to go to one year. And actually, we met a photographer at PRI, introduced her to Michelle, and now she's going next week or this year to cover the event
Yeah,
for
and
her
I'm jealous,
publication.
man. I'm
I
jealous.
know, right? I know. But she's going to cover for her publication, so we wish her nothing but the best. But yes, the Drag and Drive community is quite large. Okay, it is exciting and it's fun to watch. And the great thing about it is, as fast as these cars are, it's still very much grassroots. It's still very much, in some cases, a home built car because currently, if I remember correctly, there's no purses in most of the
Yeah,
classes.
it's
Couple
all
of
for
shootout
fun.
classes, there might be some.
You win a helmet for
What?
your class if you
But
win.
or a jacket or
Your
a
jacket.
guitar
Yep.
or a guitar, but that's it. That's the challenge. Okay, one, survive it. That's it. Survive it, and then to have the best average in your class over the week. We see here, ladies and gentlemen, this year it begins and ends in Gainesville Raceway. Okay, each year it's rotated its starting location. This year's Gainesville. I do not know if the Sunday before Sick Week is open for the public for viewing the testing because there's testing that day.
Right.
And then the first day is Monday morning. Okay, that everybody has to go through registration. Everybody has to go through their tech inspection, and then they have to get at least one run before they're given the route that they have to take in order to leave the track and work their way towards the next track for the next day. And like Mitchell said, have certain checkpoints along the way, take pictures to verify what they've done. But they're
Right.
also going to end the week back at Gainesville on the following Saturday, Friday or Saturday. I always lose track. They're going to end it back
Saturday.
at Gainesville. So if you're anywhere near Gainesville track, you have the opportunity to go see these competitors 2, if not 3 times. Do it. You need to do it.
And go ahead and take it. We're not just talking about 12 to 10-second cars. I mean, we are talking about cars that will run in the sixes that will drive from track to track. And now it takes them a long time because the way they're geared to get from track to track. But they do it. It is neat. It is really neat.
Larry Larson was the only one I know that could go 80, 85 with his S10, but he had overdrive and the gearing with the tires and stuff like that. And I'm sure there's others that's pushed it when they needed to. But you're absolutely right. Now this year, there's only been one car, actually 2 cars. But there's only been one car in drag and drive history that's ever run a 5-second. And that was Tom Bailey. Okay, he did it after the event a handful of years ago. At the event, okay, he got his one and done in. He went back up and he went a 599 or 598. Okay, now this year, Jeff Lutz, which has, I believe, run 5s in his car in testing, but never in competition. He's run many 6.0s. He's run 230, 240, and maybe even a 250. Okay, and he has won this event many times himself, but not recently. So there's the next challenge in the unlimited cars is to run a 5-second time during the event, and then 2, finish the event. And then the ultimate was if somebody can actually do that for 5 tracks in a row at 5 days in a row, which is just the thought of that is crazy and mind numbing. But just to do it the first time. You know what I mean? So that.
And before we close, not to just mention, Daytona's coming up with the ARCA Truck Series and all up to the Cup, but there's also a lot of racing going on around New Smyrna, Volusia. So that week is full of all kinds of racing. Actually, I would say probably the 2 weeks leading up is full of racing. Around the Volusia area, and so if you can make it out, support it, go sit in the stands, take your kids, have a good time. Have a good time.
Absolutely. And once again, we want to thank the people that work with us. We want to thank Redline Synthetic Oils. We want to thank Scorpion Racing Products. And we want to thank, new for this year, we want to thank Big Stuff Fuel Injection. Okay, they've come on this year with a wonderful, you got to check them out, everybody. So we want to thank all of them for coming on board on the Spot Motorsports Media this year.
Well, everyone, we'll see you Thursday night with Lex June. So until then, everyone stay safe, and we'll see you then.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good.